Okay, how about we go ahead and start out, share the prayers. Um, let's see. Um, and yeah, maybe we could chant in Tibetan maybe the first two times, in English the third time, and then there's the four, then we'll recite the four immeasurables. Sangye chodang sogi chognama Chanchu Badu Dagi Kyapsu Chi Dagi Chunyen Yi Beso Nangi Chola Penjir Sangye Drupa Shu Sangye Chodang Zogi Chodnama Chanchu Badu Dagi Kyapsu Chi Dagi Chunyen Yi Pe So Nam Yi Jola Benjir Sangye Dru Pa Sho. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May all beings be free of sufferings and its causes. May all beings never be parted from pure joy. May all beings abide in equanimity, free from holding some close and others distant. Maybe we can sit in meditation for just a couple minutes and let's just settle and gather. And then connecting with the quality of intention before we start our discussion tonight. Maybe following from last week, just connecting with the recognition of this happiness that we're alive. Gratitude for the opportunity to continue exploring the Dharma. And then opening that out into a sense of the bodhicitta aspiration. And we'll engage this moment and this discussion, our time together this evening. It's a step on our bodhisattva journey. So that we can continue to create the causes for great benefit to ourselves and to all living beings. So last week we explored the first kind of traditional topics of this subtopics of the precious human rebirth contemplation. And they were the 8 freedoms and 10 richnesses, or 10 resources, or 10 opportunities, endowments. Contemplation and recognition of our freedom from extreme suffering and extreme obstacles and hindrances, basically, and the richness of our interest in the Dharma, our capacity to understand, access Dharma, the fact that we're in a place where the Dharma is a living, still alive, like a living wisdom tradition. And the lineage is still alive for us to kind of connect with. And then the next kind of subtopic is what is called the kind of reflecting on the great benefits of our human life. So this is what we can do with it. So the first two are kind of what we're free of and what we kind of more of a potential aspect, basics, then or the conditions, and then the potential of what we can do with our situation. And it goes into, in Rinpoche's text, it talks about, it's kind of looking from the perspective of karma and past and future lives, and what creates the causes for a human life, the karma, teachings on karma in the Buddhist tradition. And basically ethics, so kind of the practice of nonviolence, ethical conduct, generosity, and yeah, so the protecting of life, offering of resources, kindnesses, and so forth. Say that creates the karmic causes for us to have a human body, human life. And then all the kind of qualities, within ethical conduct, like speaking honestly, not harming others. So the lay vows, the vows of individual liberation, the pratimoksha vows, are creating kind of a positive force in our mind streams to basically relate to other beings in that way. And long ago, I heard this talk from Robert Thurman that was very vivid. He talked about evolution he looked at evolution from kind of like a Darwinian lens, but through a karmic lens. So he was talking about how like an alligator may, like what mind creates alligator body and alligator life, and how an alligator can go from an alligator to a human being. And thinking about the alligator's form as a bit of an expression of the mind. So, and he was saying, at some point there's like respect of life, and there's a kindness. The alligator doesn't just chomp any sentient. Example was like, there's a pause. There's like a kind of protection of life. This creates kind of a interpersonal force of virtue, or positive energy. And thinking about a human body, how we're upright, we don't have huge killing devices, at least on our bodies, and like we're sensitive, and like he was kind of reflecting that there's just like thinking about how ethics and how nonviolent will lead us to a body and a kind of vehicle of expression and vehicle of relationship that has this kind of qualities that a human does. Yeah, I don't know, it was a podcast from years ago that it was very interesting kind of take, because traditionally in the teaching it just says that's what it is, like ethics and so forth lead to a human rebirth, but they don't really go into like try to explain I don't say why or how, or like just I don't know. It was an interesting bridge for me to kind of see how that could be from like an evolutionary perspective. And the vow, so vow, yeah. And an interesting kind of effect of taking vows versus not taking vows. Like, so taking vow, the pratimoksha vows, taking a lifetime vow to not kill, or vow to protect life, is different from just not killing something. Because if I've taken a lifetime vow, even though there's no opportunity right now for me to kill anything, like there's no sentient being in this room, I'm still creating a kind of a positive force in my mind stream that is force of kind of protecting life, or a force of nonviolence. Even though there's not everything I believe belongs to me in this room or my partner, there's nothing for me to steal right at the moment, but I've taken a vow to not, to respect other belongings and not steal. So it's creating kind of positive force. Whereas if you don't have the vow, it's more situational. The kind of karmic force that's, the kind of force of the mind is dependent on that kind of situational moment. So it might, I might avoid stepping on something. So I'm not killing, or I'm protecting life, or I'm restraining myself in a certain way in that moment. That's different than taking vows, where it's like a continuous kind of expression or kind of creation of nonviolence in our minds. Um, yeah, and generally in the kind of gradual path teachings, the refuge practice of refuge in the three jewels is also kind of creating that connection of refuge to the three jewels is also kind of traditionally said a way of not just taking a human rebirth, but also creating those kind of conditions that we were talking about that we have now of having interest, inclination, and opportunity for teachings, Dharma teachings. So living in kind of peaceful, relatively peaceful environments and so forth. So refuge practice becomes kind of a cause for that. Comments or questions, thoughts?
I have something. I just finished this morning at 12:15 a 3-week fall practice period with my Zazen Sangha. And last night we did a Fusatsu ceremony and we took all of our vows again. And I've done it a few times, but this time after being in all these Tibetan Buddhist classes and the information is just coming together like puzzle pieces, it's just coming in. And it was so meaningful. This has been the most meaningful in my life so far. It's just so wonderful. I'm thankful to both sanghas, and the vows really work me. So it's beautiful. And I just naturally became a vegetarian within the last 3 months after these classes and things. It wasn't a head thing. It wasn't a will. It just, everything fell away and it was, it's just been so beautiful. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for sharing. Let's see. Yeah, so Rinpoche, just kind of reiterating what we've been talking about so far. Just read a quote from Rinpoche's. How's that? Is that better? Yeah, I think when somebody speaks, like it sets, it flips. So somebody will speak, and then I'll have to change it to the other setting for some reason. It's very bizarre. Um, yeah, just quoting Rinpoche, Lamzo Rinpoche from the text connected with this class. So, yeah, favorable rebirth or human life also includes the 4 Mahayana Dharma wheels, relying on holy beings or spiritual teachers, abiding in a harmonious environment, having supportive family and friends, and collecting merit and making prayers. Yeah, and it says we need a Mahayana virtuous friend to guide us, to support our family and friends in a conducive environment. That doesn't simply mean meditating in a place where we're not liable to be harmed or get sick. As mentioned in common instructions for the calm abiding retreats, but also a place where that we live is harmonious and supportive of our Dharma practice. So, Lou, very nice. Collecting merit and making prayer seems very obvious to me. Of course, we need to do that, but we can also use oh, this is a separate quote. Yeah, sorry, it's a separate quote. Yeah, and then again, the kind of our situation isn't inherently precious, but Rinpoche was saying, we could use our resource, our wealth, fame, talent. And because the 8 ripened qualities that were talked about were also speaking on karmic power of having influence. So, like speech that has power behind it. That there's, when some people speak, it really is heard, or there's like a strong communicative force behind it. And traditionally, like having a high caste, and wealth, and basically these kind of socially powerful things, traditionally taught as like a favorable condition, because you could use it for. So Rinpoche says, we could use it for developing love, compassion, wisdom to help others. And in the book, it mentions Richard Gere, a famous Buddhist. We don't. Maybe he would be a high caste person in kind of modern culture, where the fame has a bit of a power kind of effect on people's minds. So, yeah. But that's an interesting one for me, because those also can go the other direction. Like the power and wealth also seems like it's like too much for people and can be overwhelming, and it's just hard to be able to pull back from it too. So, yeah, I'm guessing the like having that positivity, but also the kind of karmic force of the Dharma connections, so that you're not thrown off too much. Because influential power of having influential speech it can go either way too. Obviously, like a lot of people listen to politicians, so they have like this kind of influence, but not necessarily bringing about good results. So that's been an inner kind of my own kind of contemplation about wondering about wanting to have this kind of powerful, these conditions seem difficult as well. Yeah, and so then the chapter continues on. It's looking at the conditions that kind of bring us into this human life, and then reflection on what we can do with it. So, and it's Rinpoche kind of looks mainly through the kind of different goals of practice. So the goal of arhatship, or just developing the wisdom of selflessness without the bodhisattva path. And that would be the three higher trainings of ethical conduct, samadhi or meditation, and then vipassana, insight, prajna, wisdom, devoid of the kind of Mahayana, the bodhisattva ideal, and the six perfections and so forth. Yeah, I'll just read Rinpoche's quote here. So, with the entire Buddhadharma at our fingertips and a guide to show us the way, we have the perfect conditions to go beyond this limited existence and eliminate all obscurations from our mind, developing the selfless wish to help all beings. This is possible. The road is there ahead of us, taking refuge, developing renunciation, cultivating compassion and bodhicitta, and realizing the nature of reality. All it takes from our side is determination to take the road. And using the techniques taught in Vajrayana with bodhicitta motivation, we can reach the end of that road very quickly without having to wait the eons it would take following the Sutrayana path. And with our perfect human rebirth, we've received the best possible life into which to generate loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's just kind of, it's like reflecting on, Koda. Yeah.
Besides the six paramitas and our vows, how do we, I know there's aspiring bodhicitta and then another type of bodhicitta, but how do we build it? How do we create it with our vows and our six paramitas? Or what else? How do we do it?
So there's aspiring and engage. Okay. Is that better? Yeah. Yeah, so weird. So there's aspiring and engaging bodhicitta. So there's different Tibetan traditions around what constitutes. Well, I'll just say engaging bodhicitta. So aspiring bodhicitta is developing the wish, and then engaging bodhicitta is the actions of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiasm, meditation, wisdom, from the basis of bodhicitta. So when bodhicitta is present as the motivation and we engage in those actions, that's considered engaged bodhicitta. So generosity fueled by bodhicitta, with that bodhicitta intent, or meditation with the bodhicitta intent, or patience with the bodhicitta intent, and so forth.
So for the intent, do we just, like I helped a homeless young woman the other day. It's raining here, cold, and just raining for days now. Rained all day today. I mean, everything's soaking wet. And she got caught in the rain. And so I gave her food and I said, what else do you need? And she said, I need anything dry. And I went, I have my van. I live in my van. Do I have too much stuff in my van? Oh, yeah, I do. I just rummaged through the closet and I pulled out a whole bunch of warm hat thing and this and that and the other thing. And I said, how about these? And she was like, oh, my God. But I didn't say a prayer before it, or I didn't set an intention. Now I'm doing bodhicitta. Is that what we have to do? Well, how do we use the bodhicitta as we're doing our six paramitas or our vows more intentionally? I mean, thank you.
Yeah, Lou.
My understanding and the way I've been attacking it is that part of it is faking it until you make it. What you do now is called contrived bodhicitta, because you have to think about doing bodhicitta, and the ultimate goal is for the bodhicitta to become uncontrived, where it just appears automatically. Part of the things you go through that I do, like, is Tonglen, equalizing. There's a whole series of things you can do to help develop bodhicitta within your mind. I forget all the things, but there's like 8 or 9 steps, and you go through each of the steps, and eventually, by doing it and repeating it, your mind stream becomes conditioned so that the bodhicitta becomes uncontrived. I wish I remembered all the steps, but I don't. I just concentrate on equalizing and Tonglen.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the term. There's, I can't remember the term. There's the motivation at the time of doing an action, and then there's motivation. If I have I don't remember what text it was in. Like, we start our day with, reciting our refuge prayer, or just connecting with the heart of bodhicitta, or however we kind of connect at the start of the day. It's not the motive. It's not in that moment that we have that manifest motivation, but there's a connection. I can't remember the term. Let me just grab a book. I might have it handy, actually.
I'm gonna paste something in the chat that
Okay.
I got from something that Lamas Rinpoche wrote, and it's about how to open your day, so that everything you do that day becomes bodhicitta. And it's something I repeat every morning. There's 2 of them. One someone else wrote, but that he had in a list of things to do, and one that he wrote. Let me just pick it here and okay, it's not gonna let me do that. Why won't you let me do that?
But yeah, that's a good, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll get it there in a second. Zoom is being temperamental for some reason.
Sorry, I'm going to check one other text. I want to see if I can get a clear definition of engaged bodhicitta, to see if it.
Okay, here we go. This is my desktop. Okay. Okay, it's out there.
Thank you. Yeah, kind of come back to that. I'm not sure.
I don't see it in the chat. Did you send it to everyone or just to Justin?
I sent it to everyone. It should be a document.
I'll check. Again. I only see my info in the chat. Am I doing something wrong?
It should be right below. And it says to everyone.
I don't see it. It says send to everyone, but I don't see anything but my info there. Huh. I don't know what. Do you see it, Justin?
Yeah, I see your. Yeah, it's right under the message you sent.
Huh. Maybe it's because I don't have Wi-Fi and it's not coming in. It'll maybe come in later.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, it's a document.
Too
it's not a
big
big document, but.
Can you take screenshots?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't I just display it real quick?
Thank you so much, everybody.
Okay, let me get it up again. Open. Today I'm going to use my body, speech, and mind. Okay. Maximize. Share screen. Share. There it is. So I repeat this every morning, and it sort of sets it for the day. So in case I forget, I'm not sure how effective it is, but it's part of the daily prayers recommended by Lamas.
Thanks, Lou. Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't find the delineations between, like that motivation to start the day versus like motivation in that moment. But it's interesting. I mean, obviously, compassion was probably present. You see somebody suffering, it's just right. It's just there. And there's also with the emptiness side of it, seeing the like for with like giving, the giver, receiver, and gift are all dependent. They're interdependent and not inherent in themselves. So the giver of compassion and the receiver of compassion, there is an inherent separation. There isn't like an inherent difference between the two. Like there's a kind of a co-arising, which means that there's like the selfless action of the bodhisattva, so that the bodhisattva is not doing it with inherent individualism or something. Like there's a dependent arising of that situation between the two people. So there's no inherent giver of something, and there's no inherent receiver of something. So there's not that kind of, and that's called the three spheres of subject, object, action. They rise, they kind of co-arise actually. Therefore, none of them are have inherent existence or true existence.
Subject, object, and what?
Action.
Action. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the Bodhisattva path. And then on the basis of the Bodhisattva path, the Tantric path adds kind of, it's like the speedy path. What do I say? And the reason why it's considered the technical reason why it's considered a quicker path is because the nature of the deity. Maybe I talked about this last week. The nature of the deity practice. The mind's able to cognize emptiness as well as the kind of so the emptiness wing of enlightenment and also the manifest wing of enlightenment simultaneously. So in the sutra path, engaging in compassion, the kind of the merit, the compassion wing of merit of generosity and patience and ethics and all these positive forces, positive actions that create this kind of very vast positive force that creates the kind of manifest body or communication body of enlightenment, the form bodies of awakening. And then you meditate on emptiness. And in the sutra path, you kind of do these at different times. You can't do them at the same time. In the tantra path, the nature of the practice, you're able to unify them too. So you're able to create a lot of positive merit and develop the causes for kind of manifesting and communicating enlightened mind simultaneously with the emptiness. And also just a lot of different powerful methods of utilizing the kind of energy of devotion, which kind of opens the heart and kind of helps the mind kind of burn through or move through kind of the more fickle, superficial, kind of distracted levels of mind. It's devotion is a very powerful mind. And it also is able, the techniques are able to kind of harness the raw energy of what are usually just destructive emotions. So it can harness the raw energy of aggression, passion, ignorance, at the kind of raw energy level, not the kind of discursive narrative level that becomes destructive or whatever, but it kind of digests it and directly. So it's not changing, it's not avoiding, it's not the emotions, it's kind of transmuting them directly, which then kind of creates a kind of vibrancy in the mind, potency that can help our wisdom develop. Yeah, ideally.
So Tantra does that, or devotion, or the devotion within the Tantra?
Yeah, Tantra is very much present in devotion. Devotion is very much present in as a kind of core ingredient of Tantra. Yeah, and Tantra does that. Yeah, and yeah, so Tantra, yeah, like similar, like it harnesses the power of devotion to help kind of go beyond, kind of into a non-dual, and the kind of main focus of the higher Tantra practices, is to kind of manifest a more subtler mind, subtle consciousness, clear light mind, or just very the subtlest kind of our innate fundamental mind, so that we can realize emptiness from that place, which also is in the tantric tradition seen to be the most powerful state of mind to be able to progress on the path. So that's why they talk about it as a kind of a quick path, because it's trying to elicit that or kind of awaken that kind of subtle level of mind that's dormant in normal life. But it's just a tool within the bodhisattva path. It's kind of the Tantrayana or Vajrayana is a subdivision of Mahayana. So Mahayana has the Sutrayana or the Bodhisattvayana, and then it has the Sutrayana, and it has the Tantrayana. So it's just a matter of methods and approach. The motivation is the same. Yeah, and then there's a kind of scary subject called the rarity of the perfect human life. Is my volume okay? Yeah. That's the next chapter in the text. Yeah, so how it's difficult to attain. And, the traditional... And I hear different takes on this. Actually, I was in teachings earlier today, and teacher was mentioning the quote from Padmasambhava. If you want to know your past lives, you look at your body now and mind now. If you want to know your future body now, and if you want to know your future life, just look at your mind now. And so if our mind's easy, kind of relaxed and positive and, relatively, he was saying Rinpoche was saying we'll be in good shape. If we have that positive energy will kind of project, throw us or project us, carry us through to the next life. But yeah, so what gets in the way of having a kind of a good situation from the karmic perspective, and this was in the chapter on like the rarity or the difficulty of attaining human life, is kind of the opposite of nonviolence. So harming others, creating karmic energy of ignorance, and so forth. It has its own kind of trajectory. And the common metaphor is like the blind turtle in the ocean. It's an old tale of it's a blind. I think the turtle was blind. I think it was just like it just kept did like more layers of difficulty. Like in this wide ocean, there's like this little golden ring that's floating, and it was the odds of a blind sea turtle like just coming up to surface. Oh, and the sea turtle only comes up to get air every, I don't know, it's like an extraordinary long time. It's a kind of mythical turtle or something. And pokes his head up, and accidentally the golden ring goes around the turtle's neck. And that, it's a kind of an analogy of the rarity of the life. But it's similar, like, the death meditation, the contemplating death, it's really about just kind of drawing back distractions and kind of for me, like coming into, shaking off distractions and coming into our heart and what's actually meaningful, what's important, kind of just bringing it into Dharma instead of a anxiety producing, it's more like a value producing kind of heart connecting meditation. And generally, like just kind of waking up and, oh, here I am. Yeah. I heard a really beautiful, I don't remember what the Lama's name was earlier today. Maybe the Panchen Lama, not sure. He was saying, even if you know you're going to die tomorrow, I've never heard this before, it's really sweet. Even if you know you're going to die tomorrow, today is a great day to start the Dharma. Even if you've never studied Dharma before, and you know you're going to die tomorrow, today is a great day to start. It's never too late. Was the kind of gist of it. Like, there's this moment. Which, I mean, Kodo, I'm sure the Soto tradition has a lot of beautiful, an abundance of beautiful teachings on that. So, any thoughts, questions? I was thinking of using the last half hour to do the Shakyamuni meditation, and generally it's kind of a common way we practice is to use DT yoga with contemplation on a gradual path topic. So we could start with the precious human life and then do DT yoga practice. And Lou, do you have the prayer, the FPMT prayer book handy on your computer? Actually, I got it. Let's see if I can. Okay. Yeah, actually, I found it. I got the prayer up. Yeah, so I thought we could do. So yeah, and we could reflect on the life topic, do meditation on the Buddha, and then you can recite the foundation of all good qualities, which is kind of a glance reflection on the gradual path. Just to have that, reflect on that a bit. Anybody need a bathroom break or any sort of break? Okay. So we can just start with breathing meditation. And also, when we get to the point of chanting the mantra, I have the mantra on the screen if we need later. You can just do whatever settling practice that we typically use. And the way I've been taught as well is we can kind of ground into a felt sense in the body, come into the sensations in the body as we breathe. This can help us have a felt resonance when the deity comes into our awareness. I feel like we can start a contemplation on the preciousness of our human life. And connecting with your own language and however it's alive for you. And again, traditionally, freedoms from intense hindrances or suffering that many in our world experience. Whether it's physical, political, emotional, cognitive, cultural. So that we have the space that's free from that, and the opportunity and resource. And recognizing the great power, great creative power of practicing nonviolence that we have the ability to do, capacity to do, and our interest in it. And that we're developing the habit and connection and traveling the journey of the Bodhisattva, this great universal love and aspiration. In our own way, affirming a sense of joy or gratitude or appreciation. For our life and our connection to the Dharma. And then if that emotion is really alive and present for us, we can drop the contemplation and just rest in that feeling. And then within the space of awareness, in the space in front of us, at the level of our forehead, rises the eight-petaled lotus in the nature of light. And on top of the lotus lies a disk of moonlight lying flat. The lotus represents the wish to be free, suffering. The moon is the bodhicitta heart. On top of the lotus and moon disk appears Shakyamuni Buddha. And the Buddha is the nature of light and radiant golden color. And sits in the lotus posture, wearing the saffron robes of a monk. And his left hand rests in his lap, holding a begging bowl full of nectar. And his right hand rests over his right knee in the gesture of the earth witness mudra. Kind of declaring or showing confidence and awakening. And the Buddha is smiling with narrow, compassionate eyes, like a loving parent for their child. He sits within the aura of golden, radiant golden light. Most importantly, having a felt sense of Buddha's presence, awaken the presence in the space before you. radiating this potent wisdom, unconditional love, acceptance, compassion. You can make requests to the Buddha to clear any obstacles, hindrances, physical, emotional, helping to release, heal, or strengthen any qualities that we need on their path. Based on our requests from the Buddha's heart, radiant golden nectar-like liquid light needs to emanate out and comes to descend down to the crown of our head and flows down, beginning to permeate every cell in our body. Healing, purifying, clearing karmic obstacles, emotional, physical. This radiant energy of the Buddha continues to flow down through us and also bringing about any qualities that we need to strengthen. And the light and nectar continues to flow down to the Buddha's heart as we begin to hear the mantra emanating from the Buddha's heart. I feel like we can chant this together. Tayata Muni Mahamunaye Zo Tayata Muni Mahamunaye Zo Tayata Muni Muni Mahamunaya So Tayata Muni Muni Mahamunaya So Tayata 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 Muni Mahamunaya So Here we can rest for a while in the space of awareness, any felt quality that remains from the mantra. And then we become aware again of the presence of the Buddha in the space in front of us. And the Buddha comes to rest above the crown of our head, facing the same direction as us. And begins to melt into light, and melt and descend down into us. Come into our heart. Light begins to spread out and permeate. We settle in our body. We can rest feeling a sense of unification, inseparability of body, speech, and mind in the Buddha's body, speech, and mind. Is in nature, both in emptiness and inseparable. Like a drop of water into the ocean. And then we can finish. If you like, we can recite this Foundation of All Good Qualities prayer, and this is we regard as like a glance contemplation of the stages of the path from beginning to end. I usually like to throw in him or her, and here just kind of old gendered things. So the foundation of all good qualities is the kind and perfect Guru. Correct devotion to him or her is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him or her with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is difficult to find again, and is greatly meaningful. Please bless me to generate the mind that unceasingly, day and night, takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After death, just like a shadow follows the body, results of black and white karma follow. Finding firm and definite conviction in this, please bless me to always be careful to abandon the slightest negative action and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Seeking of samsaric pleasures is the door to all suffering. They're uncertain and cannot be relied upon. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate the strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by this pure thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great caution arise. The root of teachings is keeping the pratimoksha vows. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so have all other migratory beings. Please bless me to see this, train as supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing transmigratory beings. Even if I develop only bodhicitta, but I don't practice the 3 types of morality, I will not achieve enlightenment. My clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distractions to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream the unified path of calm abiding and special insight. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the Fortunate Ones, the Supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the 2 attainments is keeping pure vows and samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the 2 stages, the essence of the Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy in every game of the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the gurus who show the noble path and the spiritual friends who practice it have long lives. Please bless me to pacify completely all inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect gurus, may I enjoy the magnificent Dharma. By completing the qualities of the past and bhumis, may I quickly attain the state of Buddhadharma. One last dedication. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings, and without exception, into that enlightened state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow. May that which has not arisen diminish, not diminish, but increase more and more. Thanks again. Thank you.
That was a damn good meditation.
Oh, good. Cheers. Right on. Cool. Well, all right. Hope you both have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
See you next week.
Yeah, see you all next week. Have a good evening.
I hope we're all alive till next week.
If we are, we are. If we won't.